Hello, my name is Christopher Kim, and I'm gonna be doing Wylock's second grade worksheet. And what we'll be focusing on today is using measurements, number line diagram, using blocks, and word problems. So what we'll first do is using measurements. So the first question is, did it take more? Oh, it says answer the question below by looking at the pictures. The first question is, did it take more pencils or more cubes to measure the snake? So exactly, we're saying, did it make more pencils or more cubes to measure the snake? So we're comparing which one um which one took more to measure the snake. So looking here, we can look at the measurements. So let's take a look at how long the pencil is. So the pencil is this long, but let me do the block with a different color. The block is this long. So we could see, by just comparing these two, we can automatically see that the block is longer, because we're trying to see which one's longer. And the pencil only goes up to here, but the block goes all the way up to here, meaning that the block meaning that the cubes, not the block, the cubes, there are more cubes. Okay, let's take a look at number 2 as well. So looking at number 2, again, did it take more spoons or more cubes to measure the train? Okay, so looking over here, did it take more spoons or more cubes to measure the train? And we can see that we can count the amount of spoons there are to measure the train. So for number 1, actually, what you would actually do is you would count how many pencils there are. So there are 1, 2, 3 pencils, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There were 12 cubes used, but there were only 3 pencils used. So cubes would be bigger. So I didn't mean by the length of the cube, but I meant by the amount of cubes. So there were 12 cubes, and there were 3 pencils, meaning that there were 9 more cubes than the pencil. So sorry about that. For number 1, I meant how many cubes were used, and 9 more were used. So let's take a look at number 2. Did it take more spoons or more cubes to measure the train? And like before for number 1, which I made a mistake, sorry, you would actually count the amount of spoons and cubes used to measure the train. So let's count the amount of spoons that were used. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spoons, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 cubes used to measure the train. And what's bigger, 6 or 4? 6 is bigger, right? So there were more spoons to measure the train compared to the cubes. So sorry about number 1. I didn't mean to say the length of the cube. I meant to say the amount of the cube. So the amount of the cube was greater than the pencil. So again, let's just do number 3 as the last one, because I did make a mistake on number 1. It asks, if each cube equals 1 inch, how long is the pen? So if each cube equals 1 inch, how long is the pen? So this is 1 inch, this is 2 inch, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, and this is 6, this is 7, this is 8. But what it's asking is, how long is the pen? So the cube equals 1 inch each. And let's see where the pen stops at. The pen's length stops around here, meaning that it's 5 inches, because each cube is 1 inch, and the pen goes up to 5 cubes, which equals to 5 inches. So for number 3, the answer would be 5 inches. Let's take a look at number 1. It's the number line diagram. Using the number line, write an additional equation. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna look at the starting point, which is 12, and the end point, which is 19. So what we could do is we first know what the starting point is, so we'll write 12 down here, and the endpoint 19, which we could write it down here. Then we got to see how many steps we need to take to get to 19. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it took 7 steps to get to 19. And we could also double check this by doing 19 minus 7, which gives us 12. So yes, it would be 12 plus 7 equals 19, which is correct. And let's take a look at number 2. Again, looking at the starting point, which is 21, end point, which is 26. So we'll write that starting point up here and then 26 down here. We'll count how many steps it took us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It took us 5 steps. And 21 plus 5 does equal 26. So this is correct. Okay, let's do one more. Number 4. But over here, this is a bit different because the arrow's pointing this way, not this way. Not this way. So it's not that. So hold up. So it's not that, but it's going this way. It's the opposite direction. So this time the starting point would be 25 and our end point would be 19 because this is going in the opposite direction. And since we're going opposite, we're gonna have to count backwards, but we're just gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we went backwards 6 times, and which does equal 19. So 25 minus 6 does equal 19, which number 4 is correct as well. Okay, let's take a look at using blocks. Write the total value by counting the blocks. So before we do this, we know that these are ones, and these are tens, and these big giant little blocks, these are the hundreds. So these are hundreds, these are ones, and these are tens. So let's count how many tens there are. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 tens, meaning that that is 80. Let's count how many ones there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 ones, meaning that this all equals to 6. However, we need to combine all of these values, 80 and 6, together to make it into one whole value. So we're going to do 80. So we're going to do 80 plus 6, which equals 86. So the whole total value of all of these over here, all of these blocks, it would be 86. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. I said that these big ones are hundreds, right? So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4 of these big blocks, meaning that is 400. That would equal 400. And again, I said that these small ones are tens, meaning that we would count 1, 2, 3. So there are 3 tens, meaning that this is 30. But we're gonna have to combine these. So we do 400 plus 30, which would give us 430 as our answer. So there you go. And as a review, let's do number 3. Like I said, these are the hundreds, so there are 1, 2, 200, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 tens, meaning that that's 50, and there's 2 ones, 2 of these 1 blocks, so there's 2. So we would do 200 plus 50 plus 2. 200 plus 50, that's 250, and 250 plus 2, that's 252. So our answer would be 252 for number 3. Let's do word problems So let's take a look at number 1. On a cold night, Veronica reads 23 pages of the 90-page book. The next day, she reads 20 more pages. How many more pages does she have to read to finish the book? Okay. So far she read 23 and she read 20 more. However, she needs to read 90 to finish the whole book. So we're going to have to add these two numbers and then subtract it later with this. So we're going to add this and we're going to subtract it. So we're going to do 20 plus 30, 23, which 3, 4, and then we would get 43, right? Then we would do 90 minus 43. And 0 minus 3, that's not possible. So we change that. We get that to 8. Cross that, change that to 10. 10 minus 3, that's 7. 8 minus 4, that's 47. So that would be 47 pages. So how many more pages does she need to read to finish the book? It would be 47 pages. Okay, I think we could do number 2. Brianna uses 19 candies to decorate her gingerbread house. Charlotte uses 25 candies to decorate her gingerbread house. How many more candy canes did Charlotte use? So, what it's technically asking is that we're trying to compare how much more Charlotte used compared to Brianna. So Brianna only used 19, but Charlotte used 25, meaning that we're gonna have to subtract because we're trying to see how many more Charlotte used. So we're gonna do 25 minus 19. 5 minus 9 does not work. Change that to 1. 15. 15 minus 9, 6. Nothing. So how many more candies did Charlotte use? She used 6 more candies. And to end it, let's just do number 3. The store had 24 pink sleds and 31 purple sleds. After Christmas, there were only 19 sleds left. How many sleds did the store sell? So we could see that 24 and 30, there were 24 and pink sleds and 31 purple sleds, meaning that we're gonna have to add these two numbers and subtract it with this. So we're gonna do 24 plus 31, 55, and we're gonna have to subtract it because we're trying to see how many sleds the store sells. And 55 minus 14, 1, and then 4. So how many sleds does the store sell? 41 sleds. And there you guys have it.